Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, with the Candyman himself, Mr. Pickmaster, Johnny H. John, how are you doing on this wonderful football Tuesday?
Oh, I'm doing great. A lot of good games happened in college and the NFL. The NBA is about a half hour to kick off. Let's go, man. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I have nothing against the NBA. Nothing. I respect it because, I fell out of tune with the NBA for the past probably 20-some years. I haven't watched an NBA game in a long time. And I was talking to somebody about this today. This person was fairly excited about the start of the NBA season as well. And I said, look, I haven't watched an NBA season in 20 years. I haven't watched NBA in 20 years. The last time I seen anything on TV with the NBA was the last maybe 5 minutes of the NBA Finals last year. And I don't know, man. Like, nothing against it, but the celebration was a little... Like, it wasn't, like, exciting. But, I mean, did something happen to where it's like that for the NBA, or...
I don't think so. I don't know what to say to that, to be honest with you.
Because here's the thing is, like, the NBA is one of the most popular sports out there. I mean, the NBA, you hear about the NBA all the time. But I guess it's because I fell out of tune that it felt more like a post-game, like, regular season celebration opposed to an NBA final celebration. Now, you see videos of the team celebrating in their locker room after they get off the court. And it's a much more bigger celebration because it's the team. But on TV, it was like, maybe it's because I'm out of tune. I don't know. Like, again, I can't say anything. That's probably it. You're probably right. Again, I can't say anything bad about it because I don't watch anymore. I don't. But I wanted to experience, an NBA Finals celebration for the first time in many, many years, and it's cool that they're tipping off tonight, the start of the NBA season. And if you're an NBA fan, I personally am not. I'm more of a college basketball fan. But if you're an NBA fan, I mean, hey, good luck to your team if they're starting out tonight, and it's exciting. I mean, can't take that excitement away from the fans of the NBA, That's just like football season for, very big football fans like ourselves, kick off of the season. Hell, we're excited. We don't care what teams are playing on that Thursday night. We're watching.
Right. You wait months and months and months and months for the start, and then it finally shows up.
You sure do. John, like I said, you are the pick master. Last week, I celebrated because, we were tied going into week 7 of the NFL, and we only had 2 games different this week, and you ended up sweeping me. You're up by 2 games now. I'm 69-39. You're 71-37 in the college football pick.
Texans pick surprised me because they're doo-doo. It surprised me, but it didn't.
I mean, I think the Texans are getting a lot better as the weeks go on.
I don't think so. And that Falcons pick surprised me too, because I'm like, I even told you when you sent it to me, I'm like, yeah, that's a loss right there. That's a loss.
It was just the toss of the fact that you see Brock Purdy go back to practice and you don't know what decision they were going to make, whether it was going to be Mac Jones or whether it was going to be Brock Purdy.
It doesn't matter. You have 1A and 1B right now between those two. It doesn't matter.
You're not wrong. And I do have something I want to say about the 49ers when we get to that point. But in the college football pick challenge, I'm 6-2. You're 7-1, 1 game difference. This is a lot harder pick challenge because of the fact we're only picking in the top 25 and we can only pick a team once. So for those of you who don't know how this is going, for example, if I pick Tennessee and John picks Georgia, that's it. If they fall out of the top 25 and come back in, we cannot pick them again. We picked them once. That is it. So that's how we're doing this. And this is going to lead up basically until, if we have time records, we'll probably go into the college football playoffs. That's something that we have to more so discuss if we are going to include the college football playoffs or not. But right now, this is just a regular season thing. But that is the updated record for the pick challenge. John, let's get into recapping week 7 of the NFL. And we had some pretty pretty big games happened this past week. Some significant games happened this week because, with the way this season's going, it's a very, very strange season, not only in the NFL, but college football as itself. But it seems like almost every game nowadays is crucial. It's crucial for the playoffs, crucial for positioning, crucial for home field advantage. So some pretty big games this week. John, I want to ask you, what games were on your radar this week and you focused on?
Well, first I want to say kudos to the Cincinnati Bengals for rallying to beat the Steelers Thursday night. So that Joe Flacco trade is what's going to keep them alive. They're only 2 games out of first place, really, and in a division where the Ravens are bad and the Browns are the Browns. I mean, the Bengals could make a late season run. I could see that. Flacco's good enough to get them there. But as of right now, they're in second place. So kudos. They were once thought dead in the water when Joe Burrow got hurt.
Yeah.
There's really not, I don't think, too many games that I really want to highlight, just because I feel like this week was pretty chalk. Like, for the most part, everybody I expected to win won.
Okay.
I want to give the the Broncos a shout out for their last second win against the Giants.
Last second win. Not only that,
I'll go out and give the Panthers a shout out too for, I guess, in the battle of field goals, the team who scored the first touchdown won, and that was the Panthers. And 4-3 and so far an improvement on last year with how they're playing, and second place in their division. And those are the 3 teams I'm going to say good job going into this week.
Last second Broncos win. Man, they came back. They scored over 20 some points in the fourth quarter to win that ball game. Biggest deficit comeback.
Yeah. But I mean, they won it with a field goal as the time. That's what I meant by last second win.
Well, some history was made in the Broncos-Giants game, and we will talk about that in a few moments. I mean, for me, my highlight, number 1, Eagles-Vikings. I mean, all the talk about A.J. Brown and the chatter of, I said this on the Sunday show with Cam. I got into a discussion with somebody who is also an Eagles fan. I don't know the person. It was just a random person out in public. And we started talking Eagles, and they said, "Oh, A.J. Brown needs to go. He's a cancer in the locker room. It's like, what do you mean? Like, he's just doing what every other player does, and that is voice their opinion that they want the ball. Every player in this league wants the ball. It doesn't matter what position you play. You want the ball, right? A.J. Brown's just voicing that opinion. So you're going to go and want a high-profile player who, yes, has not had the best start to the season, but we're not even in the second half of the year yet. We're going
along, though, as the weeks are progressing. He's coming along. He's getting the ball.
And for him to go out and do what he did on Sunday against the Vikings, Jalen Hurts had probably one of the best press conferences after that game, literally just sitting down and saying, "Is that what you guys wanted to see? Is that what you wanted to see? Is that what you were expecting from us? Because if so, there you go." And I loved it. And not just because Jalen Hurts is my, personal quarterback because I'm an Eagles fan. It's just the fact, if it would have been any other quarterback doing that, I would have sat here and said I loved it. Whether it's Dak Prescott, Jackson Dart, Jaden Daniels, doesn't matter what quarterback. I would have sat here and said I loved it. Loved the attitude towards that because of all the chatter. Be done with it. And people are so quick to jump and say, "Oh, release him or trade him." Why? Because he's voicing his opinion? Who cares? And then when they go and do something else somewhere else, you're going to wish they were back. What do you call it, John? Goggles?
Yeah.
Take them off.
Eagle goggles, Homer goggles.
If you're Bottom line.
Giants fan, Giant goggles. Exactly, man.
Take them off. Bottom line. My second one is the Browns over the Dolphins, 31-6. Browns, man. I mean, I know that Dolphins team is a mess, but there is no reason why you should have let the Browns come in and take care of you the way they did. And the Browns came in and they built a lot of momentum. And I think the Browns may have picked up some momentum out of this game. I'm not sitting here saying the Browns are going to go on a run, possibly make the playoffs or anything like that. They are in a deep hole right now, but they may have picked up some momentum from this game. And I'm very curious to see what the Browns do moving forward after winning a big game like this, because this is a huge win, 31-6, blowing a team out like this.
I want to see Shador start. That's what I want to see.
Everybody does. Everybody
I'm
does.
not saying because everybody's saying it. I'm saying it because Dylan Gabriel has been nothing of a game manager. All he's doing is not turning the ball over.
Yeah.
So it's like that's great in a sense, but at the same time, Judkins isn't going to be there to bail you out every week. Eventually, they're going to stack the box and stop them, and you have to throw the ball. I want to see if Sanders has that spark that all of his fans say he has. And I just want to see what this kid can do in the same offense where Dylan Gabriel is just playing safe. He's just playing don't turn the ball over football. That's why I want to see what Sanders can do.
And by all means, I'm not saying that you're saying that because everybody else is saying it. I'm just saying I'm hearing a lot of people say they want to see Shador
I'm
start.
a Gabriel guy, man. I was a Gabriel guy when he was in Oregon, but he's not living up to my expectations.
Yeah.
He's probably not living up to the Browns fans' expectations.
But I'm just hearing a lot of people. I mean, one of the people that I see at least once a week, he's a Browns fan, and he wants to see Shador start. So, a lot of people want to see him start. My last one is the Cowboys over the Commanders, 44-22. What a great showing by Dallas. I mean, they get back CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott, with his connection to George Pickens, has grown over the past couple weeks, and very noticeably so, even with CD coming back into the lineup. So hats off to the Dallas Cowboys and their big win over the Commanders in that NFC East matchup, 44-22. Those are the three games that I spotlighted and was very impressed by. So
that's crazy, man. The Commanders' top 3 wide receivers were hurt. In that game. That's great. Yeah. And to be honest with you, the only reason I picked the Commanders, they were one of my losses this week, was because I thought, well, at least they had Debo. But then I saw that day that, Debo's out. And I'm like, all right, let's see what you can do, guys.
One of the 2 losses that you took, going 13-2 this week. John, some player records and milestones were made this week. Drake May, quarterback of the Patriots, he became the first player in the Super Bowl era to achieve the stat line of over 90% completion, 200-plus passing yards, 50-plus rushing yards in a single game. He also broke a Patriots record, a franchise record, in a single game of a completion percentage with over 20 passes of a 91.3 completion percentage.
Broke Brady's record, yep.
Broke Brady's record, that's right. Jalen Hurts, he recorded his 3rd perfect passing rating game in Eagles history, 158.3. Matthew Stafford, quarterback of the Rams, he now has 2 games in his career with 5 passing touchdowns and no interceptions. He is the first quarterback to do it in an international game, while Devontae Adams, his wide receiver, was the first pass catcher to have 3 or more touchdown catches in an international game. So huge for the Rams there. Bo Nix, he led the Broncos to their biggest comeback of the season, again, over 20 points going into the 4th quarter. Jake Matthews, offensive tackle, the Falcons, he extended his consecutive game starts to 184. That's that for the player records. And then as far as the league, John, there have been 26 games with lead changes made in the final 2 minutes of regulation this year. It is the most in NFL history through 7 weeks. So the last 2 minutes is like one of the most crucial times in a game nowadays. And then 2 team ones, the Bears defense, they first forced 4 turnovers against the Saints, extending their 4-game total to 15 takeaways, and it is the most in the league over that span. So the Bears defense, man, they're secretly, making noise and not a lot of people talking about them. Meanwhile, the 49ers offense with the return of tight end George Kittle, the team posted their season high in rushing yards at 174 with 4.5 yards per carry. So the 49ers, it's crucial that George Kittle's in there.
Well, yeah, he didn't have 1 catch that whole game. Not one catch. They brought him in there to block.
He legit. I don't even
So
think he had a target.
I know I had him starting in fantasy because he came back. Luckily, I still won this week in
Yeah.
our league. But yeah, they brought him in. I guess they didn't want to take any chances with the hamstring, and they said you're just going to stand there and block. You're not going to go too far.
I mean, that's a way to play it safe, I guess. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
If something's working, why go and change it? If your run game is working, why change it? It's working for you. So, but that's that for the NFL records and milestones recap of week 7. We will be getting you ready for week 8 on the Sunday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday morning with me and Cam. So please come join us for that. John, let's get into the NFL news that has come out today. First order of business is the Philadelphia Eagles. They went and made a call to a very known player that decided to retire after last season, winning the Super Bowl, walking away after 15 years. Defensive end Brandon Graham, amidst of the Zadarius Smith retirement last week, has decided to come back and will be playing again for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, John, I know that one player, they can make a difference, but to a certain extent, how important is this for the Philadelphia Eagles bringing Brandon Graham back for that defensive line?
Going to give leadership to that defense that I feel like is lacking right now. I feel like it's lacking that veteran leadership, and it's showing on the field. But my whole thing with this is, why retire in the first place if you're going to come back 8 weeks within the season? It's like he should have just stayed on the team.
I mean, me and you had talked about this off air, and I had mentioned to you, I completely understand where you're coming from. There's always that thing of like, hey, there's a chance I might come back, but right now I'm retiring. I get it. Then why retire? Why not come in, start the year, and if you feel like this is it, then retire? The Eagles did that.
Fans are saying, Donald, come back. Donald, come back. It's not going to happen, but that's what they're saying.
No, Aaron Donald's been retired for 2 years now. He's definitely not coming back. But it's like, I get it. I understand. And I agree with you. Like, why don't you just come back and see how things go? And if it's not working for you, then retire, because the Eagles went out, did this big retirement thing for him, everything like that after they won the Super Bowl last year. And it's like, now he's coming back, and now they're going to end up doing the retirement thing again for him when he says, okay, this is it. So how about at the end of the year, if he comes to you and says, I'm done, don't announce it. Wait until next year to announce it, and then make a bigger deal about it, because you made a big deal about it, and now he's back in uniform. So,
yeah,
but I'm happy BG's back, and I'm very curious to see how this defense responds now with that leadership in the locker room. With him coming back. Bryce Young, quarterback of the Panthers, he's going to be out in week 8 with a high ankle sprain. So the Panthers are going to be going without Bryce Young, suffering that injury in Sunday's game. So that's rough. I mean, Bryce Young, he's starting to show some progress this season. I mean, the Panthers, they're going out winning ball games, and now their quarterback, who has been making the progress, is down. So if you have any thoughts on Bryce Young's injury.
It's unfortunate because the Panthers finally have a winning record after last year's atrocious season, and the year before that bad season, and they just climbed up to 4-3. And I mean, if anything comes from this, it shows that the Panthers are moving in the right direction. Bryce Young's moving in the right direction. Terrio McMillan looks like the real deal. It looks like they have a 2-headed running back monster with Rico Dottle and Chuba Hubbard now. So it's what they tried to do with Hubbard and Sanders. So if anything, the offense is really looking like it's going to where it needs to go. It just might take a little bit time to get there to where it's consistent.
I mean, they're staying right in the mix for the NFC South. I mean, they're up there with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. I mean, the Saints second obviously place, are. Yeah, they're down. I mean, the Saints are down in the water. I mean, the Saints are pretty much eliminated before eliminations even happen. There's no bright light at the end of the end zone for the Saints right now, which is sad. But all the talk about a possible Alvin Kamara trade by the deadline, the Panthers are up there, man. I mean, I think I might have to start picking the Panthers again. Took a break on that. The Dolphins, they had announced that they will be making no changes this week after a 1-6 start and losing on Sunday to the Browns. So the Dolphins not making any coaching changes, player changes, nothing like that. There has been some rumor out there about a Tua benching, but I don't see that happening because he is their franchise guy right now. Do you see that happening?
I could see it happen because Quinn Ewers just got promoted to backup. Okay. To me, that says, all right, now we're going to bring the young guy in if you don't get the job done in a couple games and we're playing for nothing. So Ewers is now the backup, which tells me he's healthy. So I could honestly see if the Dolphins keep losing, that we're going to see Ewers in there by maybe week 10 or 11.
Yeah. A couple notable injuries at quarterback as well. Jaden Daniels, quarterback of the Commanders, they are uncertain of his start for week 8 because of his hamstring injury. Michael Penix Jr., he has a bone bruise. He's also uncertain for week 8 as well. The Jets, Aaron Glenn is uncertain on who's going to be starting at quarterback in week 8, whether it's going to be Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor. But the owner of the Jets made the announcement today. Woody Johnson made the announcement today that a change at quarterback will be made for the Jets. Even with Justin Fields possibly making a comeback this week, there is a chance that we may see a different quarterback on the field for the Jets. So right now, the Jets uncertain of their quarterback position. I mean, the Jets, their season right now is, I mean, they're on life support.
0-7, it's done.
Yeah.
How about this? Okay. Let's get rid of Aaron Glenn. Let's get rid of the defensive coordinator. Let's get rid of the offensive coordinator. And let's get rid of the GM and clean house, because it doesn't matter who is in there. Tyrod Taylor looked exactly like Justin Fields when he was in. This system is not working in New York. Let's just clean house with the coaching staff, bring in a new one, admit, okay, we made a mistake with Aaron Glenn. I feel like he's a guy who's a better coordinator, like Robert Saleh was, a better coordinator than coach, and bring in a legit coach and not snipe somebody's defensive coordinator.
I mean, like I've been saying, that contracts don't matter no more. Aaron Glenn just came in. He's a first-year head coach. I mean, we're 7 games into the season, and they're 0-7. They haven't won a ball game yet this year.
I'd fire him. Honestly,
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it happen. I mean, look at Carolina a year or two ago. I mean, Bryce Young's rookie year, head coach is 9 games into the season, and they give him the boot. That was it. There was, no looking back on that. So it can happen.
With the Jets fans, they haven't been good.
Oh, yeah.
Rex Ryan, consistently good.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Jets. The Jets fans expect doom and gloom every year.
Early Mark Sanchez, Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, get rid of him. Just get rid of him. Just get rid of Glenn. Admit you made a mistake. Put somebody as your interim coach. It gives you a season and a half to figure out who you're going to go after, whether it's a college coach or an NFL coach that got fired or is waiting for a call, and just admit it to the fans. Hey, we made a mistake. We messed up. Earn some of that trust back. Don't just keep going because you signed the guy and we're like, well, we have to ride this out. No, you don't.
I mean, normally, John, I would sit here and discuss this further with you as far as, maybe they should wait until the end of the year to see what Aaron Glenn does at the back end of the year. But honestly, I think I might have to agree with you on this one. Clean house, take that full year and a half to get things together and try and salvage what little you can from this season.
They're 0-7. They're done. They're competing with the Saints for the first overall pick right now. So it's crazy.
Me and Cam, when we run down the schedule on Sundays for the NFL, we usually look at some of these like teams that are either 1-6, 0-7, 2-5. We look at the prices of tickets for a home game, and right now the Jets for a home game, November 9th against the Browns, $40 for a ticket.
There's nothing to look forward to with that team.
No.
There's no good quarterback play. Garrett Wilson's hurt, the best player on your offense. The
Yep.
defense can't stop anybody because they're always on the field. So it's like there's nothing to look forward to with that team.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what the Jets decide to do for the quarterback position, because right now it's up in the air, and they said the change might happen as soon as, maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday. It can happen that quick. Dre Greenlaw, linebacker of the Broncos, he was suspended 1 game for the unsportsmanlike conduct after Sunday's game against the Giants. I guess there was a little scuffle after the game, and Dre Greenlaw was involved, so he's going to be suspended for a game for unsportsmanlike conduct. Mike Evans, wide receiver of the Bucs, he suffered a broken collarbone in last night's game against the Lions. He will be out for the rest of the season. So Mike Evans is done for the year for the Buccaneers. This is a huge hit for Tampa.
Man, he was going to break that 1,000-yard record that he tied Jerry Rice with last year. That's tough.
Yeah. So Tyler Lockett, wide receiver of the Titans, he asked for his release, and it was granted. He will be able to sign with a team come 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So the Titans releasing Tyler Lockett, and he'll be a free agent 4 p.m. tomorrow. So
go back to the Bengals. Watch it. He's going to go back. They're going to coax him back.
Probably. Jude McAdamy, kicker of the Giants, he was also released today. He is the only kicker in the last 40 years to miss 2 extra points in a game, which neither of them were blocked in the game where a team lost by 1 point.
Yeah, he should get released after that.
Yeah.
Especially since they have their regular kicker Gano about to come back, and they have the Falcons' old kicker there, who on the practice squad ready to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen it this year already. I mean, look at the kicker out in Los Angeles for the Rams, who's had multiple kicks blocked, and people thought he was done. And, I mean, it's obvious that he's not yet, but, I mean, if it continues, there's a chance he may get the boot as well. I missed something on our last segment that I do want to cover real quick. Not now. We'll finish the news real quick, but I'll run down this stuff after we get done with the news. Just a couple things real quick. Ray McLeod, wide receiver of the Falcons, he was released today. Aaron Jones, running back of the Vikings, he's designated to return from IR. So he's probably going to be available for the Vikings this week. Carson Wentz, quarterback of the Vikings. There was talk about Carson Wentz possibly not starting this week, but he was named the starter for Thursday night against the Chargers. And Nico Collins, wide receiver of the Texans, he suffered a concussion. He's going to miss some time, so a little bit of a hit there for the Texans wide receiver room. But that's all I got from the news, John. I don't know if you have anything on Ray McLeod getting released, Aaron Jones possibly coming back, Carson Wentz starting, or Nico Collins and his concussion.
I don't think there's any need to rush J.J. McCarthy back. Carson Wentz is doing a good enough job to keep them in the playoff rush, to keep them in the division matchup. I don't think there's a rush at all to bring J.J. McCarthy back.
All right. Some of the milestone stuff I missed real quick. Jamar Chase, wide receiver of the Bengals, he became the 5th fastest player in league history to reach 6,000 receiving yards. He did it in 69 games. He's also the 3rd player in history to receive 6,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in his first 5 years, next to Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. And he also set the Bengals record for 16 catches in a single game. So Jamar Chase breaking some records this past week. Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver of the Seahawks, he recorded a league-leading 5th 100-yard game. Also 2nd player in team history with 3 consecutive 100-yard games.
He's leading the league in wide receiver yards with 800-something.
Yeah.
He's tearing it up, man.
And then the last one, Baker Mayfield, quarterback of the Bucs, he was on the verge of passing Doug Williams for 4th most 300 passing yard games in franchise history. So, I mean, Baker Mayfield going out, finding a home in Tampa after everything he's been through with the Browns and the Panthers and the Rams and everywhere he's been. And now he finds a home out in Tampa, and he's doing some great things out there. So, man. But that's all for the milestones and records. That's all I got now. I missed the other side of my page that I had. We're gonna take about 30 to 45-second break real quick so we can switch things up and start getting into the college football stuff. We'll be back here on the Huddle Hub Podcast. All right, so make sure you're heading over to all the Huddle Hub Podcast social medias after the show and hitting that follow button over on the YouTube, hitting the subscribe button. YouTube, X, and TikTok at the Huddle Hub Pod, and on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, over on Twitch at the Huddle Hub Podcast. Make sure you hit that follow button. And if you are on the Twitch channel, all the links to all of our bios for all the social medias are down below in the bio. And you can just click on the link. It will take you over to the social media that you want to follow us on. Hopefully it's all of them, and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast going through the 2025 season and beyond. So, John, let's get into the college football segment of the show. College football news. We got a couple things to talk about. First off, Billy Napier, head coach of the Florida Gators, was finally fired. We were expecting this probably since, week 3? We've been expecting this because Billy Napier.
Yeah, I think they wanted to give him a chance, and his final chance finally ran out.
Yeah, well, his record all time in Florida as a head coach was 22-23, 22 wins, 23 losses overall. He was 3-4 this season before he got fired. 12-16 as an SEC record. 12 wins, 16 losses in the SEC all time. He was 0-10 in road he had an 0-10 road record against ranked teams. So he never beat a ranked team on the road. He went 3-12 in rival games against Georgia, Miami, LSU, Tennessee, and Florida State. So rough go for Billy Napier out in Florida, and he's gone. So again, like I said, this was probably expected since maybe week 3. I mean, this Gator team did not look good. They went out, they won a couple games. They're 3-4 right now. You think maybe they're on the rise. Maybe they can get themselves in good bowl position. But, I mean, I think this is a smart move for Florida to do this now to maybe give them a shot, because they have to win at least 4 or 5 of their last couple games to even be bowl eligible.
I think this is a very smart move.
Yeah.
Because now, not that in a month or so, coaches are going to start getting fired, and they're going to get really a first shot at them.
Yeah.
By getting rid of their coach now and just waiting to see who's there. Or maybe they have somebody in mind already and they can just go right after him when the season's over.
I mean, I'll say this. We talked very heavily about the James Franklin firing last week on Tuesday's show. And ever since he got fired, there is nothing but talk about who is going to be the head coach out in Penn State. It's like the expectations for Penn State is still pretty high, in the media and by the fans and everything, to the point where the talk about them having a head coach is in the headlines almost every day. So I guess Florida is trying to get themselves up to that standard to where people are talking about them as well.
The big school in a power conference, Penn State.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's going to be national news.
Yeah. John, you brought this one to my attention on Sunday, and I wanted to bring this up on today's show because we mainly do the college football news on this show, because we run down college football Saturday on Sunday morning show. We do a lot more in-depth talk about college football on the Tuesday show. So I figured we'll save this one for this show. This is a little bit of a fun statistic you brought to my attention. Monty Quinn, he is the running back out at Curry University. Now, Curry University is out in Milton, Massachusetts. It is a Division III school. This running back set a new rushing record in NCAA football with 522 rushing yards. This school is currently 5-1, and they defeated Nichols University 71-27. Monty Quinn, his statistics in this game was 20 carries, 522 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Now, I did deeper research on this running back. He has, except for his freshman year where he ran for 1,100 yards, has run for over 1,600 yards each season. 6 games into the season this year, he is over 1,600 yards and is expected to break this 1,900 yard mark by the end of the year. So, if you have thoughts on Monty Quinn, I mean, you brought this one to my attention. This is a huge milestone, even for a D3 player. We know they don't play the big schools or anything like that, but this kid's a senior. You know, I asked you the question, do you think maybe he could be like a D3 gem that an NFL team might go look at? He might have raised some eyebrows, you know, with it being his senior year.
Maybe in the later rounds of the draft, but he's a D3 guy. He's playing no competition. I mean, I guess D3 competition, I should say. It's not like he's going up against Alabama or Ole Miss or Ohio State. Like, maybe he shouldn't be in Division 3. Maybe he should be in Division 2 at the very least. But hats off to him, man. All the over 500 yards on 20 carries, like, that's insane to me. Like, I can't even comprehend how many big runs he had in that game. Like, that's just something. Those are video game numbers, and it's like, that's crazy. So that's one way to get your name in the new college football game if you're in a Division 3 school.
So if you do the math, 20 carries for 522 yards, that's 26.1 yards per carry.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
They didn't even need to throw the ball. Just whoever they played, Nicole, whatever, they had no run defense at all. They just must have go, just take it, just go. You have the ball, take it.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I kind of want to keep up with this school to see if they win the D3 national championship. I do. With this running back, they have to. I mean, the kid is a phenomenal running back. The crazy thing is he went into this game with only 2 rushing touchdowns. He now has 9 on the year. And he got most of his rushing touchdowns in this game alone. So,
yeah.
All right, John. Well, that's it for college football news. I tried looking for anything else that, I mean, out in Arkansas, there's going to be some heavy weather this weekend. So, you know, it's hurricane season. So some crazy weather that's going to be going across the nation the next couple days that could affect some of the games this weekend. And that's what we're about to get into is week 9 of the college football season. And run down the top 25, starting off with Ohio State at number 1. They didn't move anywhere. They're 7-0. They're on their bye week this week, so no Ohio State football games. But number 2, Indiana, they moved up 1 spot from number 3 to number 2. They're 7-0 on the year. They are going to be taking on UCLA. So what do you got on Indiana and UCLA?
You know what? This game intrigues me. I think it's a trap game for Indiana. I don't think Indiana will lose, though. I mean, hats off to UCLA. From 0-4 to 3-4, turning it around, like, hats off. Whatever they did in that Penn State game, it clicked, and now they're winning. But I can't see them with 2 massive upsets in the same year. I can't comprehend if they would knock off 2 number 2 teams in the nation in the same year. It would be crazy if they did, but I think Indiana's going to win this game.
I mean, never say never. I guess I got to be with you. I think Indiana goes out and wins this game. There's no way. I don't see UCLA going out and beating Indiana. Is there a possibility? There is. I mean, they've brought themselves back from pretty much the dead. I mean, 0-4 to go into the game against Penn State, and Penn State coming off the loss to Oregon and dropping down to number 7, and then after that just fell off the universe of the top 25. UCLA is doing some damage in this top 25, which is crazy. It all started with them, if you think of it. It did. It didn't even start with Oregon coming out and winning. It started with UCLA coming in and beating Penn State. You know, I mean, UCLA, could they continue their role? Maybe, but I don't know. Like I said last week, it seems like Indiana is trying to get into those 2 top spots, and Miami and Ohio State pretty much had them locked down until Miami lost. And then Indiana finally gets in there. So, I mean, what's going on in Indiana right now? That's the question, because
Good
college
football. That's
football,
what's going on in Indiana right
yeah,
now.
the Colts are the best team in the AFC. I mean, it's crazy out there in Indiana right now, and they're rolling. So I got to be with you. I think Indiana wins this. This might be a trap game though, but I think Indiana wins this as well. Number 3, Texas A&M. They moved up one spot from 4 to 3. They're 7-0 in the year. They are taking on number 20 LSU. LSU, they fell 10 spots from 10 to 20. They are 5-2 on the year. So what do you got on LSU and Texas A&M?
I think this is going to be a close game, but I think the Aggies defense is what's going to be the difference. And I think they're going to hold the Tigers when the Tigers really need to get that scoring drive. I mean, Cassius Howell has been a beast this year on defense. I don't see any reason why he's not going to be in this game. And I feel like the Aggies are going to take care of business. They're 7-0. They're competing not only for the SEC, but they're competing for a first round bye. So I don't see why they're not. They have more to lose than LSU does, is what I'm trying to say, if they lose. So I think the Aggies are going to pull strong and win.
I'm going to agree with you. I think Texas A&M wins this game as well. We talked about LSU last week against Vanderbilt, and I'm going to say this right now. As we know, I pull our content for the Huddle Hub podcast for YouTube and everything like that, and I put out the video of us talking about Vanderbilt and LSU. And let me just put this way: the responses we got about picking Vanderbilt over LSU was crazy. The comments that we were getting were crazy. But then after Vanderbilt won, the comments changed a little bit.
I bet.
So
I mean, sleep on the Commodores, man. They're better than I think. I think people are just starting to realize how good this team is.
I mean, the one thing that you mentioned was the inconsistency of LSU, and last week showed that against Vanderbilt, the inconsistency that they have, and I think it's going to continue this week against Texas A&M, as Texas A&M will go out and beat LSU. So, number 4, Alabama, they moved up 2 spots from 6 to 4. They're 6-1 on the year, taking on South Carolina. What do you got on Alabama and South Carolina?
I don't see any reason why Alabama won't roll Tide all over South Carolina. South Carolina is just really not in their league.
I mean, Alabama, again, they're just rolling. That defense is phenomenal. I can't say that enough. I know I say it every week. Alabama's defense, I think, is going to be the key to them going into the college football playoff if they don't face any more upsets this year, which it doesn't seem like they're going to. It doesn't. I mean, going into the Tennessee game last week, we talked about that. That could have possibly been the game of the week, and Alabama quickly turned around and said, nah, it's just going to be our game. And that's exactly what they did. Yeah. So, number 5, Georgia, they moved up 4 spots from 9 to 5. They're 6-1 on the year. They're going to be on the bye week. Number 6, Oregon, they moved up 2 spots from 8 to 6. They're 6-1 on the year, taking on Wisconsin. So, what do you got on Oregon and Wisconsin?
Again, just like the last game, I don't see any reason why Wisconsin's going to beat Oregon. I think they're just going to get steamrolled by the Ducks.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon, again, a fairly young team, but they're showing their depth of what they can do on a Saturday. They had one hiccup this year. Looking at how Oregon's been playing, I don't see them having any more. Is there a possibility that they get surprised and have one more? Yeah, but they're a very strong team for how young they are. Number 7, Georgia Tech. They moved up 5 spots from 12 to 7. They're 7-0 on the year, taking on Syracuse. Do you have anything on Georgia Tech and Syracuse?
I don't really see. This is another one. I think Tech's been proving week after week that they're for real. And Syracuse is struggling. They're doing what Syracuse does. They're 3-4. And I don't see another game. I don't see a reason why Georgia Tech should get upsetted. I think they're going to win.
All right. Number 8, Ole Miss. They moved down 3 spots from 5 to 8. They are 6-1 on the year, taking on number 13, Oklahoma, who moved up 1 spot from 14 to 13. They are also 6-1 on the year. What do you got on Ole Miss and Oklahoma?
Game intrigued me because Ole Miss finally cracked the top 10. And now they're playing Oklahoma, who 2 weeks ago lost to Texas. But Ole Miss is coming off of a loss to Georgia last week. So this is going to be their test. This is really going to be their test to see if they're for real. And this is one, I'm going to say it right now. I think the Oklahoma Sooners are going to upset the Rebels, and they're going to hop in the top 25, and Ole Miss is going to drop down to around, 13, 14. This is the time of the year, conference play. We're going to find out the contenders from the pretenders. So I think it's just the bad draw for Ole Miss. They play Georgia, and then they go to Oklahoma right after that. I think it's just a bad draw on the schedule, but
Ole Miss
it's
is
the
playing
SEC.
Oklahoma this week.
What's that?
That's who we're talking about. Ole Miss and Oklahoma. They play this week.
Yeah, I know. Ole Miss has a bad draw on the schedule, like what I was saying. They had Georgia last week. They have Oklahoma this week, but that's the SEC. This power teams, and I think Oklahoma's going to upset them and take their spot.
All righty. Well, we got number 9, Miami. They moved down 7 spots from 2 to 9 after that loss last week. They are 7-1 on the year. They're going to be taking on Stanford. So what do you got on Miami and Stanford?
Game intrigues me because Florida State was undefeated. They got punched in the mouth by Virginia, and they never recovered. Now Miami suffered their first loss last week to a good Louisville team. They got punched in the mouth. How are they going to respond to that? Like, I personally think Miami's going to roll over Stanford. Because Stanford's another team that's struggling. They're kind of playing mediocre. But you know what? It does raise a question to me is, could an upset happen? Sure. But I think the Hurricanes are going to beat them. I just want to see how they're going to respond to their loss.
I'm kind of intrigued on that as well, even though Stanford isn't doing too well. Again, just like UCLA, is there a possibility that Stanford could come in and beat Miami? There always is a chance for a team that's not doing well come in and beat a team that's doing well. I'm intrigued on this as well. Let's see if Miami can pick up the pieces of the puzzle that got broken up last week and put things back together and keep themselves in the top 10, possibly climb back up to the top 5. Because as we've seen with Ole Miss, I mean, for weeks we were like, we're waiting for Ole Miss to break that top 5. They finally do it, but then they fall the first week they're in. So let's see if Miami can put those pieces of the puzzle back together. Vanderbilt, they are number 10. They moved up 7 spots from 17 to 10. They are taking on number 15, Missouri. Missouri moved up 1 spot from 16 to 15. They're 6-1 as well. So what do you got on Vanderbilt and Missouri?
This is a game I'm actually really looking forward to because I like I said before, both 6-1. This is the time we find out the contenders from the pretenders. When conference play starts, Vanderbilt, I said it last week, if they want to be a contender after losing to Alabama, they have to show they can win big games in the SEC. They won against LSU. That's great. Missouri, their only loss came from Alabama, but to be fair, I really feel like they haven't really played anybody this year. I think this is going to be a good test for Missouri to see where they're at, but I don't think they're at Vanderbilt's level yet, and I think Vanderbilt's going to continue to roll.
Yeah, I'm going with Vanderbilt on this one as well. I mean, we're seeing Missouri slowly climb the rankings, going out winning week by week. But like you said, they're not really playing anybody this year. They lost to Alabama, which was not even probably, it was their toughest test of the season. This is tough test number 2. And I think Vanderbilt is built to go out and beat this team. If they can go out and beat LSU, they can go out and beat Missouri. Simple as that. So I'm going Vanderbilt on this one as well. BYU, they are number 11. They moved up 4 spots from 15. They're 7-0 on the year, taking on Iowa State. What do you got on BYU and Iowa State?
I love this matchup. As a West Virginia fan, I love Big 12 football. You have BYU, who I honestly thought they were going to be pretenders. I fully said I expected Utah to win last week and go on the road to win. Be on the road to win the Big 12. BYU said, you overlooked this, Candy Man. And you know what? I did. I don't see any reason why BYU should lose to Iowa State. I mean, let's be honest. Iowa State lost to Colorado last week. Colorado. I mean, come on. And
Yeah.
Cincinnati the week before that. They're on the downtrend. BYU is just coming off of their biggest win of the season, a win that possibly put them in the Big 12 Conference Championship game. And I think the Cougars are going to pounce all over the Cyclones.
I mean, when you look at the 5 teams left that are 7-0, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, those are kind of normal 7-0 teams. Then you got Georgia Tech, who's coming back from
came out of the blue.
Couple years unexpectedly, yes. But now you got BYU in there as well. And it's like, where did these guys come from? What happened?
I can take credit for saying after Georgia Tech's week 0 win that the team came together and I expected this, but BYU I did not expect this from.
Well, we'll definitely have to see what BYU does on Saturday against Iowa State. Number 12, Notre Dame. They were on a 5-game win streak. They moved up 1 spot from 13 to 12. They're on a bye week this week, so Notre Dame's getting a little bit of a breather. So they're off, but they're 5-2 and in the top 15. Number 14, Texas Tech. They moved down 7 spots from 7 to 14. They are now 6-1 on the year, taking on Oklahoma State. So what do you got on Texas Tech?
There shouldn't be any reason that Texas Tech shouldn't roll on Oklahoma State. They just fired their longtime coach a week or so ago, and that school's in shambles. They're 0-4 in Big 12 play. 1 win on the year. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But I don't see any reason why Texas Tech isn't going to roll on them.
All right. We already covered number 15, Missouri. So number 16, Virginia. They moved up 2 spots from 18 to 16. They're 6-1 on the year. They are taking on Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels. So what do you got on Virginia and North Carolina?
Virginia intrigues me because if I want to go out and say that I didn't see BYU coming, then I'm going to say I had no idea Virginia was capable of doing this. Being 6-1, 3-0 in the ACC, they're putting themselves in position to play Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game. Now think about that. No Florida State, no Miami, no other big dog. Right now, the top 2 ACC teams, Virginia and Georgia Tech. I love this run the Cavaliers are on. Granted, Florida State was at their expense, but I want to see Virginia go as far as they can go. I want to see them play Georgia Tech in the conference championship game. And I don't see anything good about North Carolina. I feel like Bill Belichick came over and they're worse.
Yeah.
So they're 2-4, 0-2 in the ACC. I think Virginia Tech's going to take them and take them pretty easily.
I mean, when you look at Miami's remaining schedule, Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt, that is the remaining schedule for Miami, okay? Any of these teams in the ACC can come in and beat Miami. Last week, Miami was the top dog of the ACC, almost guaranteed they were going to make it to the ACC title game. They lose last week, and that all changes. All changed. If they lose to Stanford this week or any of those remaining teams on their schedule, that's basically the nail in the coffin for them with just that one loss in effect last week. Miami, literally, their whole season turned around when they lost last week.
And I don't see any reason why, if you look at Virginia's remaining schedule, I don't see a team that's going to beat them.
Yeah.
North Carolina this week, Cal, Wake Forest, Duke, Virginia Tech, there is not a single good team that they play left. Yeah. That's why I said if they win out, it's going to be Georgia Tech and it's going to be Virginia in the ACC championship.
Well, it's going to be very intriguing to see the back end of the race here in the ACC with Virginia, Georgia Tech, and right now, Miami.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Number 17, Tennessee, they fell 6 spots from 11 to 17. They're 5-2 on the year, coming off the loss last week to Alabama. They're going to be taking on Kentucky this week. So Tennessee has a chance to maybe bounce back and get a win under their belt against Kentucky. But what do you got on this game?
Yeah, this is going to be a great bounce back game for Tennessee. I completely agree with you. Kentucky they're like the North Carolina of the SEC. They're not moving forward. They're only going backwards. Tennessee will win this week. They'll get their 6th win. They'll be bowl eligible. They'll keep a seed in the college football playoffs alive, a hope alive for them. So this will be a great bounce back game for Tennessee.
I mean, I say it every week that these past 2 years I've been very, very big on Tennessee. And I'm not going to lie, I'm starting to really regret having this belief that Tennessee can be a powerhouse team and go out there and possibly run for a national championship.
Well, Nico left. That's the problem.
I mean,
he's over there in UCLA on a 3-game winning streak, looking like he's going to turn them around.
Yeah. Number 18, South Florida, they move up 1 spot from 19 to 18. They're 6-1 on the year, taking on Memphis. Now, Memphis, they were in the top 25 last week. They suffered a loss. They now got bumped out. So what do you got on South Florida and Memphis?
I believe South Florida is going to get upsetted. They're going to get bounced out of the top 25. And Memphis is going to bounce back in to the top 25.
Okay.
I don't see any reason why or how Memphis is going to slow down. South Florida is going to slow down Memphis. They average almost 40 points per game. They're 15th in the nation in running yards. I mean, they're a top 25 team on defense in points against. Memphis's defense is going to shut down South Florida. And then on offense, they're going to run all over them. I see Memphis with the upset and back in the top 25 next Sunday.
I mean, 50% of me wants to agree with you and 50% of me doesn't, because South Florida, just like a Vanderbilt or some of these other lower end schools, are surprising. And South Florida is showing they're going to go out and win games. Is there a possibility they go out and beat Memphis? Yes. Is there a possibility Memphis comes in and beats them? Yes. It's 50-50 in this ball game. This should be this should be a very intriguing ball game to watch. Should be. Number 19, Louisville. Let me just say this, John. It's about time. Louisville is number 19 in the top 25. They're 5-1. They're taking on Boston College. So what do you got on the newly entered into the top 25 Louisville against Boston College?
Let me say this, okay? I did not realize who Louisville's quarterback was until this week against Miami. Okay, when they lost Tyler Shuck, I thought they were going to take a step backwards because they had to build somebody up from ground up. I didn't realize that they got Miller Moss, USC's quarterback last year, from the transfer portal. Once I saw that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense why they're 5-1 right now. They went and they sniped a quarterback to replace their other quarterback.
Yeah.
So I truly think that was a great move. Let me rephrase my thought here. Boston College is 1-6, 0-4 in the ACC. They're not a contender. They're not a pretend. They're a pretender. They're not really a player in the game. Louisville, they have a shot at the ACC championship. If they really do, I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest with you. But, I mean, if you look at their schedule, Boston College, Virginia Tech, California, Clemson, SMU, and Kentucky, those are all winnable games for them. They're going to need some help. Of course, they're going to need Virginia to lose. That's why I don't think they're going to make the ACC championship game, but they are going to get a good bowl game. The Cardinals are going to roll all over Boston College.
All right. What's up, Cam? Thanks for joining us here tonight on the Huddle podcast. Appreciate you stopping in. Checking out the Tuesday show. Number 21, Cincinnati. They moved up 3 spots from 24 to 21. They're 6-1 on the year. They're going to be taking on the Baylor Bears. So what do you got on Cincinnati and Baylor?
Baylor, I honestly expected better things from Baylor this year. They're Sawyer Robinson, their quarterback. This kid leads the nation in passing yards and passing touchdowns. Yet Baylor is 4-3, 2-2 in the Big 12. So that tells me right there, it's not the offense that's the problem with Baylor. When your quarterback is passing all over everybody he plays and scoring over all everybody he plays. And I think that's going to be the reason why Cincinnati beats Baylor, because Baylor's defense is just subpar. It's not where it should be. Cincinnati's going to go on. They're going to crack the top 20 on Sunday, and they're going to beat Baylor.
All right. Number 22, Texas. They moved down 1 spot from 21 to 22. They're 5-2 on the year, taking on Mississippi State. John, we talked about Texas and the inconsistency of this team. Now, if I can get my thoughts for a second here,
yeah, go for it.
I think Texas is going to go out and beat Mississippi State, no problem. But at this point of the year, with the inconsistency of Texas, there's no chance of them winning the SEC title unless big things happen. Teams lose, they got to keep winning. I mean, do you see Texas at the end of the year finishing in the top 25?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, they're 5-2 now. After they beat Mississippi State, I 100% think they're going to win. They'll be 6-2. They're going to get in a bowl. And if you want to talk about the king of inconsistency, Mississippi State, they were 4-0. They lost their last 3 games. They lost to Tennessee. They lost to A&M, Texas A&M. Okay, 2 good teams, but then they lose to Florida. Like, I think they're more inconsistent than Texas is. And I just want to look real quick at their schedule just to see if they do have a shot. I mean, Texas they have a hard schedule. Mississippi State, then they play Vanderbilt, then they go to Georgia, Arkansas, and then they play Texas A&M. They're not going to win all those games.
No.
I don't think they'll beat Georgia. They might not even beat Vanderbilt and A&M. And they're going to get into a good bowl game, and I think that's about as far as Texas gets.
I mean, looking at their remaining schedule, playing Texas A&M and Georgia, I mean, that's possibly 2 losses right there. You know, that would put them at 4 losses. I could see this team finishing at best 4 losses, at worst maybe 5 losses. I don't see them finishing in the top 25 with 5 losses. I don't.
And to what Cam said, Arch does need to develop. I completely agree with that. This is his first year as a starter, and he's going to get his lump. It's a learning experience for him. I think next year's Arch Manning is going to be a lot more comfortable, and it's not going to take him long to show that he's comfortable. And I think Texas is going to do better next year. I think Arch just needs this first year as a bit of a learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely progression with him in his first year, and he is showing the progress. He's showing that he is developing. You know, you're seeing him make his mistakes at the same time. He's having games to where it's just like lights out for him. And you could tell at times he's very uncomfortable. He is. You could tell at times.
I agree.
Come next year, I think the comfortability will set in. He'll start getting a little more comfortable in the pocket if he has to leave the pocket. Texas next year may be a force that you don't want to mess with. But as far as this year, I see a 4 or 5 loss season and not finishing in the top 25. They've been in and out all season, you know. So number 23, Illinois, they moved up 3 spots from being unranked to 23. They're 5-2 on the year, taking on the Washington Huskies. What do you got on Illinois and Washington?
I haven't been high on Illinois all year. They've hovered in the lower 20 to 25 most rankings most of the year. Every time you think they take a step forward, they don't. You look at their 2 losses, they lose to Indiana. They lose, which was considered an upset at the time. And then they get trounced by Ohio State last week. Illinois is in a good spot because they showed improvement. They're showing that the school is moving forward, but they still have ways to go. And I think Washington, they're going to go in there. They're not going to go in there. It's in Washington. They're going to beat Illinois and they're going to upset them. I think this is just going to be another game that shows Illinois is in the right direction, but they're still a little bit too inconsistent to be dependent on.
All right. Well, number 24, Arizona State, they got into the rankings this week. They are 5-2 in the year. They're going to be taking on Houston. So what do you got on Arizona State and Houston?
Arizona State, I thought they were going to be a contender for the Big 12 championship like they were last year. They somewhat disappointed me. They really have. I mean, they needed to beat Utah 2 weeks ago to really solidify that, and they just couldn't get the job done. To be honest with you, I think Arizona State does beat Houston because it's at home. Houston is a good team. They have a good record, but I feel like Arizona State's battle tested. They were the Big 12 championships last year. They had a first round bye in the playoffs last year, and they're trying to get back into that. They had a taste of it. They want more. And I just feel like it's going to be too much for Houston to go to Arizona State, not the travel, just the atmosphere, because it's a whole different atmosphere when you're away on the road in college football than it is at home. And I think Arizona State's not gonna trounce them, maybe beat them by 2 scores by like 7 or 10. But I think it's gonna be a good game.
All right. Number 25, Michigan. They are welcome back into the top 25 this week. They are 5-2 on the year. They're going to be taking on their state rival, Michigan State Spartans. What do you got on Michigan and Michigan State?
Rivalry game right here. And as inconsistent as I feel like Michigan has played this year, I don't see them losing to Michigan State at all. I really don't. This will give them their 6th win. They'll be in a bowl, and that's it. I mean, I feel Michigan will win this game.
All right. Well, that's it for the top 25. Running down the schedule for the top 25 this week, me and Cam will be recapping all the games from the top 25 on Sunday on the Sunday show at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Huddle Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel. With that being said, John, that's all we got. That's all we got for the night. So before we get out of here and before we give everybody our socials, I want to let everybody know to head over to the Huddle Podcast socials. Over on X, YouTube, and TikTok. On X and TikTok, hit that follow button. On YouTube, hit the subscribe button. That's how you follow at the Huddle Hub Pod. And on Twitch, at the Huddle Hub Podcast. Make sure you're going and hitting that follow button, helping us build the Huddle Hub Podcast, going through the 2025 season and beyond. So, John, your socials are on the bottom. Make sure you're going to check out everything John is doing on social media. What do you got? What do you want the people to know?
I'm posting stuff on TikTok, Handyman JH. I'm not like super consistent with it, but I am starting to dabble in TikTok again. But yeah, just head over to my Twitch. Next week I'm gonna start streaming more consistently on Twitch. And just check out my YouTube channel for any content that I drop.
So he's now on TikTok.
Oh, that was a quick ad.
Yeah, I mean, John, you got to remember I do this 4 times a week. So I mean, how quick I can get it done, it's literally a snap of a finger, So make sure you're going to check out John's social medias over on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. And
thank you, Cam. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, Cam. And make sure you're checking out everything that John is doing. We're going to be getting together our off-season stuff for our college football as well. I'm going to be starting year number 4.
Yeah.
So
yes, sir.
Getting that together. You can find me on Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Metal Mike 714. That's where you can find me. I don't post anything on social media, really, just some random stuff. I do a lot of my content creating on the shows here. So head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast social medias and check out all the videos that are posted. Other than that, you can see us here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with me and John. Every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with me and Cam. With that being said, we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Huddle Hub Podcast on Sunday. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Take care of each other. Be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until Sunday, have a great one, everybody. Deuces.